All right, so I've been a professional programmer for, wow, over a decade now. And when I look back, there are just so many things I really wish someone had told me right at the start. So today, we're going to distill all those years of hard won experience into just a few minutes. Think of it as a way to save yourself some serious time and a lot of headaches.
Does this feel familiar? You're just staring at your screen, feeling totally overwhelmed. Maybe you're stuck in what feels like an endless tutorial loop. Or you're just full of self-doubt, wondering, am I actually cut out for this? Let me tell you, if that hits home, you are so not alone. It's a feeling pretty much every single developer goes through.
So, my goal here is really simple. I want to save you years of that frustration. We're going to shortcut that learning curve and jump straight to the insights that I think can really change how you approach not just coding, but your whole career. Okay, so let's start with the first big hurdle, the mental traps. These are the things that keep so many aspiring developers from ever making real progress. Escaping this maze is honestly the most crucial first step. This right here is probably the biggest myth in all of programming. I used to be convinced that real developers just had the entire JavaScript language memorized. But that's not how it works at all. It's kind of like cooking. A great chef doesn't have every recipe in the world memorized. They understand the techniques, how to chop, how to season, how to combine flavors. Coding is exactly the same. So let me just be perfectly clear about this. If you find yourself Googling something you feel like you should already know, congratulations, you're working just like a senior developer. The job isn't about having this perfect, flawless memory. It's about being a great problem solver. And that means knowing how to find the right information and fast. And that leads right into another huge trap, passive learning. I mean, watching hours of tutorials, it feels productive, right? But it's like trying to learn how to ride a bike by just watching videos about it. You have absolutely no idea if you can do it until you get on that bike and, probably fall a few times. The real learning, the stuff that actually sticks, that only happens when your fingers are on the keyboard. So here's a really crucial rule of thumb for you. You've got to flip that ratio. Instead of just consuming content all day, make this your personal rule. For every single hour you spend in what I'd call consume mode, you need to spend at least 4 hours in create mode. Get your hands dirty, break things, get stuck, and then figure out how to fix them. I promise you that is where the real learning happens. I'm not kidding. I once spent 3 hours. 3 entire hours just trying to decide on the perfect name for a single variable. And it sounds ridiculous now, but this kind of perfectionism paralyzes so many people. So here's the truth. Done is way better than perfect. Shipping some ugly code that actually works is going to teach you infinitely more than crafting some theoretical masterpiece that never sees the light of day. And that's a perfect lead-in to our next section, which is all about developing an action mindset. This is how you overcome that paralysis and make the shift from just thinking about coding to actually doing it. Look, I have to be completely honest with you here. For the longest time, I kept waiting for some magical moment when I'd finally feel like a real developer. But you know what? That moment never comes. Not for your first project, not for your first job application. That feeling of being an imposter, it can stick around for years. You just have to learn to ignore it and start anyway. And that's because confidence is a result of action. It's not a prerequisite for it. Think about going to the gym. You don't wait until you're already in great shape to start working out. You go to the gym to get in shape. Coding is exactly the same. You build confidence by building things, even and especially when you're scared and feel like you have no idea what you're doing. Now, this one simple idea reframes everything. Most beginners think coding is all about memorizing syntax. The for loops, the functions, the semicolons. But that's just the tool. The real skill, the thing that actually makes someone a great developer, is problem solving. You've got to learn to think like a detective. When something breaks, and trust me, things will always break. Your job isn't to panic, it's to get curious. Break the problem down into smaller pieces. Follow the clues in the error messages, and just keep digging. Debugging isn't some sign of failure. Debugging is the job. So here's a hard truth that took me a while to learn. Nobody cares about your code. Seriously, I once built this beautifully elegant, super reusable component that I was so proud of. And the client's only feedback? Cool, can we make the button blue instead of green? They don't care about your clever abstractions. They care if it solves their problem. Your code is like plumbing. Nobody cares how neat the pipes are as long as the water runs when they turn on the faucet.
Okay, and finally, let's talk about the professional reality, because this isn't just about learning to code, it's about building a sustainable career. And that means you have to play the long game. This whole hustle culture myth of coding 24/7, it's not just wrong, it's dangerous. I've been there. I've spent an entire weekend fueled by nothing but caffeine, just staring at a screen trying to fix one single bug. And when I finally solved it, I didn't feel victorious. I just felt completely exhausted. That isn't a win, it's a huge warning sign. The best developers, the ones who really last in this industry, are the ones who protect their energy. They take breaks, they set boundaries, they actually sleep. Your brain is a battery. You can't just run it at 1% all day and expect it to perform. Real, long-term productivity comes from sustainability, not from grinding yourself into dust. Okay, wow, we've covered a lot of ground. So let's lock in these lessons with a quick, rapid-fire recap. All right, remember these. First, your job is to find answers, not have them all memorized. Second, you learn by doing, not just by watching. Third, ship your imperfect projects. Fourth, start before you feel ready. Fifth, focus on solving problems, not just writing code. Sixth, build for the user, not for your own ego. And finally, and maybe most importantly, play the long game. Take care of yourself and avoid that burnout. So as we wrap this up, I want to leave you with a question to think about. Looking back at your own journey, or maybe looking forward to the one you're about to start, which one of these lessons hits home the hardest for you? Just taking a moment to think about that can really help solidify your path forward. Hey, if this explainer helped you shortcut even a little bit of the pain of learning to code, make sure you subscribe. We're always breaking down complex topics just like this to make them simple and actionable. Keep building, and thanks so much for being here.